Excited to be here today. We're going to show you how to draw
the Boss Bokoblin from the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Pretty awesome little monster that you encounter a lot in the game. So for this, we are using just pencil first to sketch out shapes, and then we're going to switch over and use some permanent markers. I like to use just pencil to go in really light and sketch out the shapes of a bigger picture that I'm drawing, because anything that you're working on can be boiled down to the shapes that you're doing. So that's what we're doing here. Just remembering to press really light. Hopefully you can see it okay, but we're just going to use the shapes, and we're going to get started with an oval here for the head. So oval for the head, and then we are going to turn it into kind of basically just a nice, simple triangle up at the top for a horn. And then coming down, the Boss Bokoblin kind of has these other little horns. So we're going to make some little triangles like this, all that go all the way around the head. You can see that mine didn't quite connect all the way. That's because he's also got kind of this little like cloth thing that connects to everything later. And for right now, we really just want the shapes more than anything. All right, and then kind of moving down the face, we've got pretty decent sized triangle sort of right in the middle for his nose. The Boss Bokoblin's got kind of a pig nose almost.
Yeah.
Kind of a good way to describe them, right? Like giant mean pigs that want to kill you. And then for eyes, for right now, we've got sort of little ovals, but he's actually got fairly small eyes that are pretty spread apart. It's kind of funny to look at pictures of these things, because for as big as they are, you'd think they'd have bigger eyes, but they're actually kind of small. And then for right now anyway, just going to draw a nice straight line, just a nice easy line for where we're going to put the mouth. And now Oliver and I mean, we're not great artists, but we do love art and drawing and stuff. So that's what you're getting here today. And then so coming, I guess we got to do the ear too. So for the ears, they kind of come out, and he's got this sort of puppy dog almost ears that come out to the side. Mine's actually probably a little big, so I probably won't do it quite that big when I go through with the marker later. So I'm going to make this side a little bit smaller, I think. You can see how it's just a pretty simple shape, almost like a rectangle that comes out, and it's a little bit wider at the bottom. So I am going to make mine this side a little bit smaller when I go through with the marker eventually. So now we're coming down to the body, and we've got just almost like a square, kind of like rounded sides, a little bit of a square. We're coming down, and nothing too crazy there. Pretty simple. It was looking good, man.
Thank you.
So we are just going to start on the arms. And so for arms, I really like to make a very light circle here to show where the shoulders are going to go. So just on opposite sides there, little shoulders. Because, I mean, that's where your whole arm gets its movement, is from the shoulders there. So important to remember where those go. As for the arm itself, coming out this side, his right arm, I'm going to make, or her right arm, I'm going to make it really big like this, a nice big fat oval that kind of overlaps the shoulder and comes out from the torso like that. Okay, and then so that's the top part of the arm. And then for the lower half, again, it's going to overlap another oval that kind of comes up like this. And so these are big, these are fat ovals, because they're these Boss Bokoblins. What do you think? Strong?
Yeah.
These things are big, right? I mean,
they're like, they've got big horns to ram you with.
Yeah, they do. They got all kinds of stuff. Not to mention big arms, big horns. They've also got big weapons that they always are holding. So for now, I'm just going to do one more circle at the top of that. Doesn't even have to really be connected, you can see, just like in the area. And that's going to be what we're going to use for the hand. And then for the weapon, I'm going to sketch out just this nice big triangle that comes kind of big up at the tip and then gets a little bit smaller towards the hand like that. And again, feel free to use, some creativity, whatever you want to do when you're making yours. It does not have to be exactly like this. And on this other side, we'll come down with the arm, and I'm going to do the same similar thing, but instead of up like the other one, I'm going to draw mine going down a little bit towards the body. So this is the top part of the arm. Remember, do it a little bit bigger because these guys are pretty muscly like that. And then actually, instead of drawing the lower part of the arm, I'm going to draw a bigger circle because his hand is going to be holding something closer to us. And so it'll look a little bit bigger. And from that hand, I'm just going to give myself a nice little, almost like a triangle coming out of it like that, because he's going to be holding something. And I'll draw like that too, so you can see. So if you've played the game, they like to hold these little horns, alert everybody else, all of his minions and stuff. And so that's what he'll be holding in that side. And then from there, we are going to sketch out a big old belly. These guys are big. So that's a nice oval all the way around that connects the top part of the torso, and then nice and big protruding belly. These guys are really big. Good, nice. And then what's funny about these guys is that for as big as they are, as strong as they are, their legs are actually really small. And so the way that I'm going to start that is just sort of these almost like half circles. Really, they're kind of like marshmallows that connect to the body. You can think of them. So this is just the top part of the leg there, because these guys actually get, fairly skinny legs for how big they are, which is really funny to see. So we'll connect one that way for the top part. The lower part will be here. Again, sort of like these little marshmallows almost. And then finishing it off with the actual feet. And these will be almost more squarish at the end, and a little bit bigger at the end. So, sort of like that. Sort of like duck feet almost looking. Nice job, nice job. What do you think? Does it look like a Boss Bokoblin?
Not quite, but it does in shapes.
Right. And that's for me, that's a really easy way to get started with things, is the shapes, because anything you want to draw can be boiled down to the geometric shapes. Everything that you want to look at in some way has a shape. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to put my pencil aside, and now we're going to get into the actual detail with our markers. You want to show them what you got? So Oliver's is going to be with an even finer point than mine, but anything with like a fine tip should be great for these. And so we're just going to draw right over our pencil drawings using the basic shapes that we did. And so we are going to kind of work our way from the top down, again, just so we don't really smear our paper. If you do what I do and kind of rest your hand on pages, which is probably not the best thing to do, but that's what I do. So we're going to start right here at the top of his spear or club and work our way down. So I'm going to start, and this is made out of wood. And so you can get real like kind of bumpy with it. There's no reason to be real straight with the lines, because I'm not sure if you've ever seen a piece of wood or made your own club or pretended that way, but they are not very straight. And so nice bumpy lines is fine. And what I like to do then is go and you can add little detail marks of where the wood kind of moves around a little bit. And so you can kind of make little shapes like that almost that come down. Great. And now Boss Bokoblin's from what I can tell, I think they've got 3 fingers. So I'm going to use this circle that we had for the hand. We're going to draw a finger there and then almost the outline of a thumb right there. And then you can draw his knuckle coming off the top. And then another finger down lower. And if you want to get detailed with it, you can kind of draw a little fingernail at the tip there. And then they've got these little like spike bracelets. I forgot to draw the triangles for it, but they've got these spike bracelets that kind of go all the way around. So that's a good detail to add here because these guys do wear those big bracelets. And then so that comes all the way around like that. And remember, I said I drew my ear too big, so I'm gonna not worry about that part. I'm just gonna go right into my the forearm here and bring that down and connect it. Remember, this guy's got big arm. And these forearms, in the game anyway, I don't know why, I don't know if there's a reason for it, but they're always bandaged up. Do you know?
No.
Just more of a design thing than anything. And so we'll go through and we'll draw this like bandage. If you've ever had a cast or even like an ace bandage wrapped around your arm, they kind of just crisscross a little bit. So there's his bandage. And then we're coming over and we're connecting back to that shoulder. And the arm can go down lower like this. So that's a pretty big arm. And something that I like to do when drawing an arm, if I want to show the muscle, is draw the bicep line down kind of low and shows that this whole thing is like the muscle part of the arm. So these guys are big. And then coming on up, it's looking good. It's good looking good.
Thank you.
Coming on up to the head. So we're going to, again, follow that same basic shape. You can add like cheek bones a little bit if you want, but then connecting sort of up there for the head. And then I'm going to come out on this side and I'm going to draw the ear. And it's going to come like that. And then I'm going to keep on kind of working my way up. What I didn't draw in our shape portion was that these smaller horns, they're kind of covered by like a little cloth almost. And you can do that just like the simple little like waves almost that come across.
And for the little horns, there's the cloth that's completely optional if you don't want to add those little horns, because I'm pretty sure those are connected to the cloth. So it's more like a crown.
But theirs are actually, I mean, like any horn, they're a little more rigid than that. So I'm going to follow the basic shape, but we're going to kind of go like in and out almost a little bit all the way up to the tip. And then follow the same basic pattern the way back down. There we go. And then what I like is in the middle where the 2 points meet, you can kind of draw a little line. It doesn't have to connect all the way, just to show some of that movement that the horn has all the way up. All right, and then I'm coming back on this side. I'm going to finish this ear where it goes a little bit wider at the bottom, and then down to this side. We'll draw sort of the face there. And now I'm going to come in and we'll do our nose. And this is almost like a pig nose, but it follows that shape there. And then if you give it little nostril shapes right there in the middle. There we go. Perfect. Go play. And now the eyes, actually fairly small for how big the thing is. So do it like that. And in fact, you can kind of draw in just the dark parts of the eyes on the outside, because it's like their pupils are the bright thing and their eyes are darker. And we'll do the same thing for the other eye. Now, right now, he doesn't look very mean. He looks almost nice, you know. And that's because we haven't drawn any eyebrows yet. Eyebrows really show a lot of the emotion in a face. So if you kind of draw like downward pointing eyebrows, you can show a lot of how angry they are. And now the mouth, you can draw, sometimes in the game they have their tongue hanging out. Other times it's just the teeth. Do you want to do with the tongue out or no tongue? And I'll draw one with tongue. So for now, I mean, again, just following your same basic shape of the line that we drew before. So Oliver's going to draw it with no tongue and just the teeth on top and bottom. And I'll draw mine with a little bit of tongue hanging out, because they do have these big tongues in the game that kind of come out. So however you want to draw it is great. If you do draw a tongue, you can draw a line down it. And then later on, you'll be able to color it in at all if you want to. And then draw like the bottom of the chin there. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. That's all right. We'll make it faster in the thing. All right, now coming down into the arm and the chest here, we'll kind of draw the chest area where the top of the torso meets, drawn into the arm. Okay. And again, this hand was bigger, and so we're going to draw it pretty big like that. So these are the fingers. And that's because it's holding this horn to tell their other guys that we're close. And if you draw a couple circles down here at the bottom of the horn, those would be like what he's covering up to make the sound. There we go. Nice. And then we'll draw the stomach. Big old belly coming out. That connects. And if you draw like a little dashed lines across, you can see where like the stomach meets his chest. And then the belly button there in the middle. And now just moving down for the last part here, we've got the legs. And then at the top of the legs, it's covered by almost like a little loincloth kind of thing, which you can draw with just these little sort of jagged shapes of cloth that come down from the belly. And then for the legs themselves, what I like to do to show the knee where it bends, don't connect all the way across, bring it sort of almost halfway. You can do that on both sides. And that shows where the knee bends, and then from there you can connect the lower half of the leg like that. And then if you've spent any time around like horses or hooved animals, you'll know that they usually just the two hooves that connect like that, and that's what Boss Bokoblin has too. And that is about it. And then when you're done with that section, once it's sort of dry, you can color it however you want. I'll show you my finished product.
And if you enjoy this content, make sure to like and subscribe.